We are even up at 2. The Oilers pull off the 3-2 victory over the Vancouver Canucks in Game 4 in dramatic fashion. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Oil Street Postgame Show presented by GCL Diesel. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage, and Zach Tocchet coming at you. I'm live on location. Hudsons, Whyte Ave. This place absolutely erupted when Evan Bouchard scored with 38 seconds left on the clock. The live shots of the Ice District, epic right now. Of course, GCL Diesel, Edmonton's diesel fuel system specialists and providers of critical engine components for over 50 years. Join the conversation. Get at us in the inbox, 780-218-9999. And, of course, via the nasty chat. Always curious how many Canucks fans are going to be watching the postgame show on our side tonight. We will find out. But Oil Country has all the bragging rights in this one. A huge last shift from the Draisaitl Kane Holloway line. Patience started with a big hit from Kane in the corner, and then a nice play by Leon Draisaitl to Evan Bouchard, who rips one past Arturs Shelovs. Let's get into the scoring summary, then we'll get Gager up and running. Of course, we'll get to all of your texts, as many as we can, and we'll check out what's going on in the nasty chat as this series is going back to Vancouver Thursday night, even up at 2. Here we go. First period, Leon Draisaitl, his 8th of the postseason on the power play from Connor McDavid and Evan Bouchard at 11:10. Absolutely brilliant play by McDavid to suck a couple of defenders back and then go across his body to Draisaitl to make the play happen on the goal. I'm watching the review. They're seeing if there's a high stick. Is that what they're looking at? We'll get to that in a second. 1-0 Oilers on Draisaitl's 8th. McDavid and Bouchard, the helpers. Then in the second period, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, last minute of the second period. 40 seconds left on the clock, makes it 2-0. Mattias Ekholm takes the hit to make the play, and Nugent-Hopkins converts on the 2-on-1. His second of the playoffs, Ekholm's third assist. Everything was looking good, but Vancouver had some really good moments in this game. They had a huge stretch in the second period where basically they didn't let the Oilers touch the puck, and they couldn't convert. But in the third, they would get on the board, 6:54 in. It would be Connor Garland, second of the series, second of the playoffs from Elias Lindholm and Nikita Zadorov to cut the lead in half. Then, with just a minute 41 left on the clock, Brock Boeser off the face-off, which was won by Elias Pettersson. Quinn Hughes makes the play to Boeser. Boeser fires it at the net. It bounces off of Vinny Desharnais' stick and then off a defender in front past Calvin Pickard. Not much Pickard could have done on that one. Also, I should add on the Connor Garland goal, Pickard was screened, couldn't see anything there. Boeser's goal coming at 18-19, his 8th of the playoffs. What I liked about the ensuing shifts, especially from the Draisaitl, Kane, and Holloway line, it started with McDavid's line going, and they attacked. They didn't sit back. They didn't want to wait to see if this game was going to go into overtime. They went after the Canucks, and sure enough, it was a big play by Kane in the corner, a big hit. The Oilers maintained possession in the zone, and then Kane finds Draisaitl to Bouchard from behind the net. Bouchard walks in a little bit, then he just rips a wrister past Arturs Shelovs for his 4th of the playoffs. 3-2 Edmonton at 19:31. They hang on the rest of the way. 3-2 is your final. Shots on goal, 30-21 in favor of the Oilers. The Oilers lose the face-off battle. 46.8% is what the Oilers were on the dot to Vancouver's 53.2. The power play goes 1 for 2. The PK much better tonight. The last couple games it had leaked a couple, 3 in the last 2 games. PK tonight goes 3 for 3. Hits officially 48 for Vancouver, 37 for Edmonton. Block shots officially 18 for Edmonton, 15 for Vancouver. Giveaways 12 for the Oil, 4 for the Canucks. Takeaways 6 for the Oil, 3 for the Canucks. The numbers that matter most, 3 under the Oilers goal column, 2 under the Canucks goal column. And then at the end of the night, series tied at 2 going into game number 5. Let's get Joaquin Gage on here to break this one down. Get those texts in, 780-218-9999. Of course, hit us up in the nasty chat. I think the boys are moderating as well, which is appreciated as this thing continues to intensify. All right, Gager, there are a bunch of things you were talking about on the pregame show. I'll go over game changers and the 3 bullet points you wanted to hit on today. Stay in the moment, no passengers, gardien de butts, as you like to put it. How did the Oilers fare in those 3 categories? Unmute, Gager, unmute. There we go. He's ready.
Sorry, buddy.
You just want to be like Cass, didn't you?
Yeah. I always. Yeah. It's a tribute to my buddy.
Yeah.
You know, just being on mute. It's so weird that you always seem to forget. Like I need to stick 'em. I need to put the stick 'em up there from now on. But no, I mean, there were no passengers, I could say, tonight, Tommy. I think the Oilers played a really, really good game. And I think, I mean, we'll get to it a little bit, but there were certain moments throughout that game that I really think helped the Oilers. It changed the course. But yeah, very, very impressive type of game, staying in the moment. Even so, from period 1 to period 2, like the like what I meant, and maybe I didn't talk to it at length of too much as I had in my mind, but it was almost when something good happens during the game, you have to put that behind because it's already happened, right? So, and I think you saw the progression from the first period where the Oilers got better, I thought, and they really were able to put a solid first period where they played quite well in the rearview mirror. It's done. There's nothing we can do about it, even if good or bad. And they started off again in the second period really, really well. So, yes, they stayed in the moment. And then again, the fact that there were a ton of guys that were pulling on the same chain tonight, to a man. It was constant effort. And I look no further to the Evander Kane penalty, Tommy, the 4-minute major or 2 double minor. It allowed certain guys to get engaged into a very important game and be meaningful in that situation. Like you saw the look on those killers, like coming off, coming on, they were fully engaged. And I think that you don't want to take a double minor at any time, especially at this time of the season at that juncture. But I think it actually helped them to get everyone, you know, and you saw what happened when the puck goes down the ice, the whole bench erupts. It was a huge turning point in that game.
780-218-9999 if you want to text us. Lots of positivity from this one as the Oilers win at 3-2 over the Vancouver Canucks, heading back to Van, tied at 2. Just looking at the times on ice, we're seeing Mattias Janmark. He was at 12:38. He was out there for Sakib Wowitz. Derek Ryan played 8:52. Connor Brown played 9:59. Warren Fogle, 7:45. Dylan Holloway, 13:28. Ryan McLeod, 12:57. Corey Perry, 9 minutes on the dot. And then Kane, 16 minutes. Nugent Hopkins, 22:26. McDavid, 23:12. And Draisaitl, 20:47. Hyman, 20:05. So we didn't see anybody above 25 minutes from a forward standpoint. And even on the back end, you had Ekholm and Bouchard both playing 24-20. Ceci and Desharnais over 18 minutes each. And then Nurse at 16 minutes and Kulak at 15-20. All right, a big question, and we need your opinion on this one, Joaquin, is the play of Calvin Pickard. A lot of people wanted to see Calvin Pickard in this game, especially after the start that Stuart Skinner had to the series in the 3 games. Pickard sees 21 shots, allows 2 goals, so 19 saves. What did you make of the veteran netminder who was all of a sudden thrust into the spotlight here?
Well, first period, I could see a little bit of nervousness. Maybe not nerves, but it definitely looked like a guy that hadn't got any action in the last 3 weeks.
What are the tells, Gager, for you? Because you would know better than most of us, pretty much all of us, actually.
Just the rebound control, the saves that you're making. Almost when a goalie's playing really well, he's there. It's a fine line of allowing the game come to you. He was a little bit more proactive. If you look to the second period, it was a completely different. His body language was completely different. It seemed like a guy that was comfortable after that first period. That was a huge first period for CP in that game, allowing him to get comfortable, and again makes that scrambly save at the end of the period, makes a hard scramble save to gain some confidence. I think that benefited him going into the locker room. And I mean, that second period was great for a guy that hasn't played, and the magnitude of the situation. Again, I look at the double minor as a huge turning point, but the Besser 2-on-1, man, this guy's shooting. He stares him down, doesn't back in, doesn't give any ice back, and takes that 2-on save. Not only makes the save, but is able to gobble up that rebound too, Tommy. Just great performance by Calvin Pickard. It's so impressive to me being, I've been a backup in my life, not playing for that amount of time, coming into a situation that essentially you could say the season is on the line at this point, and having that type of performance, very, very impressive from, I'm going to call him CP now because that's just my moniker for him.
All right. Well, I'm sure some people already called him CP, but now that Joaquin Gage has officially knighted Calvin Pickard CP, the rest of us can use it now. All right. Defensively, too. You said that the Oilers might be motivated to be a little more protective of the middle of the slot and around the house and the diamond, whatever you want to call it. But it really did seem like the Oilers put a concerted effort into protecting Calvin Pickard as much as possible. How did you see the Oilers perform in their own zone as a whole? Because I know you like to talk about efficient passes, how crisp they are with the execution of that, and then on top of it, how well they protected the house in front of Pickard.
It was on the defensive side, looking at it where they were. When I say the Oilers are really good when they're playing a step ahead, almost, right? And when you could see that on the defensive side of the puck as well, when the Canucks were getting a shot on goal, and if there was traffic in front of them, there was a concerted effort by this was to a man, I think, to control sticks. Like, you did not see, even if there was those second chance opportunities, they were eliminated by either allowing Pickard to find the puck, get a whistle, or controlling the other team's sticks. This was a defensive by committee when the puck came to the net to make sure that they were insulating their goalie in those types of situations. Masterful job within those first two periods, and you're going to get that. I think I'm sure guys were talking about in the locker room. It's one and done, right? Yeah. If they get a chance, they're not going to get another chance because we're gonna be defensively responsible in making sure they don't get those opportunities.
The Oilers win it 3-2 over the Vancouver Canucks in Game 4. Text us 780-218-9999, and then of course get at us in the nasty chat. Oh, I just peeked over at the nasty chat. It is humming along like it tends to do in this postseason. If you haven't like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I also should mention that portions of this hour brought to you by our good friends at 100.3 The Bear, Edmonton's best rock. Catch Dusty Nielsen on every weekday morning with Uke and McCord. And then on your drive home from work, tune in to Jess Jackson. And on game days, actually throughout the postseason, I've had the good fortune of being able to do Oiler updates on Jess's show. So check them out, Edmonton's best rock, 100.3 The Bear, our good friends over there. All right, the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show continues on. Todd Gazzola live on location at Hudsons, Whyte Avenue. Joaquin Gage was with me earlier on the pregame show down here. Gager, you left an impression on some people. They were very happy to have you around. So a big thank you for doing that on the pregame show. Zach Tecum holding things down back at EST HQ for us tonight. Let's get to a few texts. If you want to bounce anything off of Gager, fire those our way, 780-218-9999. Rip City Step says, never doubted him. Okay. All right, Step.
I can understand that, Tommy. Like, what? He's never given you a reason not to trust him. I see some. There's there's a few other monikers going in. There's I got it. It's going too fast to see it.
It does that,
but it's Pickles from
Pickles.
I can't give the recognition that it deserves because he got the Oilers out of a pickle. So
I like
maybe
that.
it's Pickles. I like that. I do like that.
EA, I love how we can take photos and send photos on our new text line. EA just sends in a picture of his heart rate, 141. So EA, EA, take a deep breath. Maybe pop a shot of Birdie Booze and grab a 6 o'clocker lager and exhale, my friend. But that's a funny one. Here's one from Jason. Says, again, glad they won, of course, but man, getting worked on the faceoffs. Need an answer for this. Gager, the Oilers pretty much all season are a pretty good faceoff team. Even in that first round series against the LA Kings, who do have very strong faceoff men, they were good. They usually win the faceoff battle, but for whatever reason, in this round, the Canucks have been giving them fits. Are you noticing anything there? Is it deflating when you're not winning faceoffs? I know it's probably annoying when you're chasing the puck for the first 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah, you definitely want to do a better job of that. But that's the Canucks have really good face-off men themselves. I think looking at stats of Miller in the previous series, he was well over 50%, right? Mm-hmm. We know what Lindholm's capable of in the face-off circle over the past few years with Calgary. So that's something that they're going to want to, one of the little aspects of the game that they're going to want to look into and do a better job of. It's always better to start with the puck. But again, this is where the anticipation factor of certain points in the game where even losing the draws, Tommy, when I saw them lose a couple, they were jumping to the play. They limited time and space of the Canucks better than any of the previous games tonight. Like you do that 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. There was an Oiler on the Canuck puck carrier at that point, right? And just that's what I've been talking about. This was the first time that I saw the Canucks be looking a little bit uncomfortable. And I think that was to a man the way that they, it wasn't always a big hit, but it was forcing someone to do something with the puck before they wanted to do it. And they did a good job of that.
Gager, how about the physical play? You said it wasn't always a big hit, but there were some big hits. And the Oilers got to Zadorov a few times, and they did lay a licking on some guys. Corey Perry sticks his stick right in front of Brock Besser. Listen, that's a donkey move, but it's hilarious at the same time. I mean, that's full on Corey Perry. The physical side and the way the Oilers answered, how would you sum it up?
Needed, I guess, if I'm going to do it with one word. Look no further than the game winner. Kane goes in and crushes, right? Causes a little bit of chaos. Oilers get a turnover. You get an unbelievable pass from 29, from behind the net back to the point, and Bouchard does something special. Those types of goals hurt a little bit, Tommy.
Yeah.
When you, as a goalie, when you get a really good chunk, that 7-hole kind of, you're in good position. Like everything you're doing is perfect, and it still seems to squeak by you. That hurts. I mean, we talked about Stuart Skinner, taking the blame for not having a good performance.
Yep.
Archer's had a good game. He had a really good game. He made some really good saves. But at the end of the day, that was a stoppable puck. I'm shooting a lot more on Archer's come game 6. We texted a little bit throughout the game. I still think the opportunity to shoot the puck and get that chaos, maybe get those second chances, because this guy's feeling it a little bit, and I think it's going to take those types of screens, second chance opportunities, deflections, traffic at the net to get it by him. The Oilers could have done a better job of that on the offensive side, I think. But all in all, really good game on the defensive side and limiting that time and space.
Yeah, Shelovs did have that one sequence, Gager, where he robbed McDavid. I think he got a save on Draisaitl right before that, too.
Yeah.
And McDavid kind of thought he had scored. It's not often that a guy like that doesn't think it's in the net, but Shelovs did make the save. So, the guy's been up to the task. 23 years old, rookie guy, and third stringer, and he's played well. He's gotten Vancouver to this point, and I'm sure they're going to continue to ride with him. You can't change him after that one, can you? You're not going to dismiss or anything like that.
Oh no. He's earned that net. I would say, Tommy, even if Demko is healthy, I don't think you even, if he's ready to go, I don't think you put him in.
Yeah,
it's just too much time's elapsed from the last time he's been playing, and this is jumping on a 20-mile-an-hour treadmill for a goalie at this point. If you haven't had that progressive playing time during the playoffs, he's the Canucks goaltender unless something really drastic happens in the next game.
Gotcha. That's dangerous to jump on a 20-mile-an-hour treadmill. Just for those of you that are going to try it tonight and probably somewhat inebriated, don't. I'll just save you the pain. And then on top of that, it was interesting too, Gager, because we had Dan Murphy today for the rink report, and Murph says he doesn't even think that we're going to see Demko at all in this series. I know there's been conflicting reports, but Murph's as dialed in as anyone with the Vancouver Canucks. I think even Murph during the rink report said we might not even see him if the Canucks advance for a little while. So, like you said, probably continuing on with Shelovs unless things go completely sideways and they try to get DeSmith in there. But Shelovs giving them a chance in every single one of these games. All right, Phyllis texting in via the nasty chat. I found a way to stop it. This is interesting. On my end, it says from Phyllis, Oilers noticeably more defensively. Oh, there it goes. Oh, my goodness. Just when I thought I had it. I'm sorry, Phyllis. I found it. Defensively minded and how they played tonight, and I believe that was because of who was in goal behind them. Thank you for that one, Phyllis. Appreciate it. This one from Maddie39, also via the nasty chat, says, please, for the love of God, bench Ceci. He was absolutely awful, so passive, no jam, no jump. Honestly, play 5 D-men and bench him. That should be his last game as an Oiler. Like Maddie39 in the nasty chat has gone way overboard on that one. You know what? We talked about it defensively as a whole. Everybody was pulling on the rope. What would you say to Maddie39, Joaquin?
There were times maybe the decision making could have been better, but that's a long jump over to the other side on Ceci. I didn't have a huge problem with Ceci's game. I thought everyone was a little bit more engaged, a little bit more physical. They made it harder for the Canucks in certain areas. No, I have to disagree. I don't think it warrants taking Ceci out of the lineup by any means. His first pass, perfect a lot of times. And if there were certain points in the game where he had to, just get rid of the puck, he did a good job of that too. So yeah, that's a little bit harsh. I think I didn't see a lot of. I can't say of one Oilers player that is like. And maybe there was a couple instances, but you're going to have those. I think I texted you the Fogle one in the second period. He's got to get that backhand sauce at the blue line out of his game. That's boards and out or tape to tape. Make life easier on yourself.
CC, for those wondering, his stat line is 2 hits, 1 missed shot, 1 giveaway, 2 blocked shots. He played 18:06 tonight. 249 of that on the PK. Just put in the work tonight. That's how I'd look at him. I didn't think he was awful. I think everybody, especially defensively, did a good job to battle around Calvin Pickard, and they got the job done. Hey, that's just our opinion, but like Maddie 39 there said, he doesn't like it, doesn't appreciate Ceci. To each their own. We see it differently, but I don't know. I think everybody on the defensive side of the puck was pretty good. on this night. All right, let's go to Jay in the Park. Says, Pickard win and you're in. Better keep him next game. What a win. But CC can't be out there. 4 soft plays, lost puck battles in the last 2 minutes. Brutal. Has he ever won a puck battle? So Jay in the Park and Matty 39 seeing things the same way. Justin of Balgoni says, Pickard gave the boys confidence they needed. Roll him for game 5. LFG. You know what, Gager, one last thing about CC. Like, if he's having a tough time defensively and he's making soft plays like Jay in the Park is pointing out and Matty 39 are pointing out, Desharnais's been the guy lately that they put out there in those key moments. Bouchard has been better defensively, that they've been using more and more in all moments of the game. So, I mean, really, Cody Ceci now defensively is the 3rd best right side D-man.
Exactly. Yeah, and there were a lot of things he did right. I think those outweigh if you're focusing on I mean, I get it. I know the puck battles, but I can't throughout the whole game. I don't really have a problem with CC's game. On the eye test, I don't have a problem with it. Yeah. You can't take him out of the lineup at this point. He's jumping in the play. He's creating a little bit of offense from the back end. And what are you going to replace that with? What are you going to replace that good first pass with?
Yeah,
that it's not possible.
It's not going to be Troy Stetcher, and it's not going to be Philip Broberg. I'll just say that. All right, let's go to Dirty Curdy. Dirty Curdy says, snatching victory from what felt like the jaws of defeat. 4 consecutive D-zone draws. Lost, made this an adventure. Pick solid. Does he start next game? I say yes. Dirty Curdy also sending in a picture. Meeting Duncan Keith tonight. Nice to see. That's a good photo. I like that one. I think we're safe to say, Gager, we're putting in Calvin Pickard for game 5 here.
No, I mean, history shows that maybe it's time. You know, this is, if we were to all jump in that time machine of last year, Tommy, Jack Campbell would have got a start at some point, right? And who knows what would have happened there. This is when you take the ball and run with it. You build momentum as a goalie. Calvin Pickard goes in a very crucial point in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs and provides adequate goaltending to get a win. Like the Canucks had to do some special stuff to get the puck past him, and he made some really good saves. And that can only, I think, for him, it can only get better from here. Of course, you run with the hot hand at this point, at this time of the year.
780-218-9999. I am seeing more and more CC hate coming in, Gager. Collingwood Rob didn't like CC's game. He's calling for Stetcher. I don't think it gets any better with Stetcher in there. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if Stetcher can handle the heavies that the Canucks are throwing at them in the Oilers D zone. So certainly, I don't think you're taking CC out, who's quote unquote healthy, for a Philip Broberg and just throwing him into the fire either. All right, let's go to
You saw it. He would have gone 11-7 at that. You know, that was. I thought, oh, they're really doing it, but it was 12. Right, like this is these 6 guys are they're your ride and dies or whatever you're going to say.
Yes.
You know, it's dangerous to do something like that, to take a defensive pairing that's been together for over 90 games this year. To build that chemistry with someone else at this time of year is ludicrous. You can't do that.
780-218-9999. Top Gazzola live on location. Hudsons, Whyte Avenue, still rocking. People pumped up after that Oilers 3-2 victory over the Canucks in game number 4. Joaquin Gage at his satellite studios, and then Zach to come producing tonight's show back at EST HQ. Let's go back into the text line. Andrew in London says, the former London Knight, Tommy, absolutely loved the Oilers game defensively. Vancouver did not deserve to draw even in that third period. Terrific PK. Nuge and Evander stepping up with the physicality. What can you say about Pickard too? Rock solid when he needed to be, and the boys played so well in front of him. Oil in 6. Knights rolling here in London. 8-1 win, 9-1 win, and a 7-6 double OT win down 4 in the third for a 3-zip series lead, as seen on TSN. Look out, Andrew, in London, Ontario. Somebody found a teeth, and I'm just going to read this one because it's always funny when these boys text in. I actually met them one night right before a game. They're hilarious. There's a picture of all of them surrounding a teeth. A teeth is holding a sign that says, "I'm skipping work tomorrow." Wheels is laughing, and then the text that came in with this lovely photo, which is amazing, says, "Let's go, dickheads." That's a tradition unlike any other. Our boy Baron texting it says, "Tommy, I had to cheer so quietly as to not wake the wife and baby. What a game. First game, they looked like they gave a solid effort, and it almost slipped away. Good win. Can't wait to listen to Canucks fans complain at work." And this one out of the 604. Daryl in Port Moody saying, "Thank God the Oilers won. Living here in Vancouver with the Canucks playing as well as they have has made their fans unbearable. The Oilers have got this. Let's go, Oilers." Daryl in Port Moody. Norman at Combine says, "Boys, have a great show. Go Oil." Shaggy in St. Albert. All right, I love Shaggy in St. Albert. Gager, Shaggy in St. Albert since day one of the playoffs has said, this is the motto, put up or shut up. He signs off his text with it. We're going to hear it right away here. Shaggy in St. Albert says, "Played great, almost perfect, complete game for 45 minutes. The Canucks score their first goal. Then the Oilers get completely outplayed until the end of the game. Blew the 2-goal lead in the third. Got lucky with that Bouchard goal at the end. Concerned about the lack of killer instinct. This game should have been over by third. Pickard battled and no fault on either goal. Better than Skinner has been in this series. So now, who is Oilers goalie for Game 5? Also, still no offense from the depth players. Game 5, put up or shut up. Shaggy in St. Albert." All right.
Let's address
go.
first the 45 minutes of good play. That's amazing. First of all, this is the top 8 right now. You're not going to dominate a team for a full 60 minutes. If you do, usually at that point it's 7-1 or something, and the team has had a complete stinker. Okay, there was a point I want to say in the second period, about the 6 minutes left in the second, Canucks pushed a little bit, right? There was the inevitable push eventually where they're just going to, there's going to be chances taken, and they're going to perform at a level that's quite high. But the Oilers played at a very high level for a long stretch of this game, and the way that they withstood it, and it really, you look at that tying goal, Tommy, it's a great play by Brock. Like, you could see that's a goal scorer on the side, because you can see how far he has the puck out just to get it past over on the other side of Vinny Desharnais,
right.
And just, whatever. I'll put it in that area. We'll see what happens. I don't like Desharnais going, like, you're kind of in no man's land. I understand it a little bit, but
and there was the other bounce at the end too, right, Gager?
Yeah, it's a great play by Besser, but it's a little bit of a pinball at that point. The Oilers were good, but you have to expect the other team to push. That's when the old adage, you just don't bend, you don't break, you bend.
Shaggy and St. Albert brought up a couple of other interesting things. The lack of killer instinct. I immediately when I was reading that, I thought to myself, I want to see the Oilers go pedal to the metal, full bore, not stop. Don't just sit on a 2-goal lead. Try to get that third. But you said it. We're in the final 8. The Canucks were the best team in the Pacific, one of the best teams in the Western Conference, one of the best teams in the league for a good chunk of the season. They're going to push back, and they have the horses to do that. So I understand and I like the mindset of having the killer instinct, but I also can accept that it's not always going to be you forcing the pace of the play as much as you want to. I can respect and appreciate that. So that's kind of my response to Shaggy and St. Albert's point about the lack of killer instinct. Then the other one was no offense from the depth players. That's something that has come up certainly throughout the postseason, but there wasn't a lot of offense at all tonight anyway. And you look at the Canucks goals, who are they coming from?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There's a lot of talk in the Nats chat about Holloway and a good game he played.
I thought so too.
I thought he played a good game, but he's capable. Now he's getting into the point, Tommy, where I've seen some things that he's capable of, and I want to see more of that. And I think it was in the first period where, and I think they alluded to it on the broadcast, where there was just not enough assertiveness with the puck. Like he gets in the do I need to defer at that point?
Right.
Put the blinders on, kid. Who cares? Go take that to the hole. See what happens. Let it buck. Like he's had success being, I guess, a little bit selfish at times. Shoot the thing.
Yeah.
If he stops it, gets a whistle. I'd much rather that, and that it happened way too much for my liking. I'm a goalie, Tommy, and I shouldn't be talking about offense one bit, but I know what's uncomfortable as a goalie. And when a team had an outnumbered situation or a chance to have a good shot on net in a good area with other guys going to that, and just nothing happened, it was great.
Yeah.
And it happened a handful of times, and you can't give those up. You talk about killer instinct. That's that killer instinct where, worst case scenario, goalie freezes it. We get a line change, face off on the other net in the offensive zone, and we can go from there.
Right. Well said, well articulated from a guy who doesn't provide offense. He just stops offense. That's what he does, Joaquin Gage, our game analyst for tonight, filling in admirably for Matt Cassian. The Oilers win it 3-2 over the Vancouver Canucks, heading back to Van, tied up at 2. All right, Zach, to come, we have a couple of clips to get to, some post-game interviews. Where do you want to go first, pal? We'll let you handle that.
Well, we got a couple. I would like to go listen to what this man had to say. He had 2 points on the night, assisted on the game-winning goal. Here is Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, unbelievable. What an awesome guy. What an awesome story. All year he's given us a chance to win, and every time he's in there, it seems like he's standing on his head. So super proud of him. Not an easy thing to do too. Really, really hard. So very, very happy for him.
Leon, you come back and you give up the late goal. There's obviously, I'm assuming, a lot of frustration. How do you make calm in that moment as you're line to regroup and go on the inside?
Yeah, I thought Kaner did an unbelievable job there. When things like that happen, it's a bit of a shock, and sometimes you can get on your heels a little bit and just, let's get this into overtime. But he goes in, he forechecks hard. That goal is all Kaner.
Another big goal from Evan. That's 2 game winners at crucial times for you. Just
yeah.
Shot of his.
Yeah. Great player. It's been amazing for us, obviously, all year, and especially in big moments. So it's a big goal for us.
You guys were rolling 4 lines deep into this game. I feel like this was a real night where everybody got a chance.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone contributed. Everyone played well. That's the way we have to play. But that being said, sometimes, from the outside, I think it's easy to, be on the coach and say, why is he playing guys so much? In certain moments, that's it's just the way that the game goes sometimes. But definitely more of the rhythm and game that makes us a really good team.
You control that game for a long time. Is there ever any frustration having been able to kind of take advantage of that into more goals?
I wouldn't say frustration, but I definitely think that we deserve a couple more goals falling our way, or maybe a bounce or 2 going our way to maybe really take the game over and make it 3-0 or whatever it is. But their goalie is playing really well, and you got to continue to fight sometimes till obviously the last second. So good job by us sticking with it.
Leon, what do you like about the way you guys have defended as a team? They've had chances, but for the most part, you've really cut down on high
Yeah, really good. I mean, thought very limited looks for them. I think in the second, we lost our game a little bit for a couple minutes, 5-6 minutes span there where, they made some nice plays and hemmed us in a little bit. That's going to happen. They're a good team, so. But thought we weathered it well, and then, even the third, I thought we played pretty well, and then obviously two quick ones, unfortunate, but glad we got the win.
As a follow-up to that, some changes to the defense pairings tonight, and those guys have to kind of move around and do some different things. How did you find that those guys were able to kind of adapt?
Yeah, really good. I don't think anyone's overly worried about our decor, shuffling the deck or moving pieces around. They're all, established, really good hockey players. They know what to do. So, great job back there.
We're down to a best of 3 here. These series are always about teams raising their game and getting better at the end when it counts the most. Where do you think your game is, and you got a place to?
Yeah, I think our game is good. I think we got another gear. I think we have another step. Maybe in terms of offense, I think there's another gear. There's another step for us, and obviously we're looking to find that.
All right, that was Leon Draisaitl there talking about his defense, talking about his goalie. And then interesting and something of note that I want to bounce off of Gager right away. I'm going to read off Draisaitl's stat line tonight. A goal, an assist, -1, 4 shots, 4 hits, 20-47 time on ice, 58.8%. But the thing that stood out to me, Gager, is he's talking about another gear that they could get to. He brought that up. He talked about it. I want to see it. I believe him when he says it, but how much further can they pump this up, and what can they do with their game to achieve this other gear that Draisaitl's alluding to?
Well, I think we've seen Connor, for parts of this, get to that, get it into 6. Then you could say Leon, that game in Vancouver that they won. This was a game where, again, no passengers tonight. But I still think there's, on the offensive side, there is a little bit more. I think, I believe Leon when he says this. I definitely think that the Oilers have another gear. Now, saying that, I do think the Canucks they're capable of a little bit more. I mean, they have a sleeping giant on their team right now that is barely noticeable. And if he ever wakes up, that becomes a huge problem for the Edmonton Oilers to deal with. The fact that what the Canucks are doing without Elias Pettersson being the player that he actually is remarkable. Yeah. I think the Oilers did a good job of taking advantage of Soucy out of the lineup. It's funny how he doesn't, there's not a big score, but you take a seasoned veteran, reliable defenseman out of your lineup for one night, there's a noticeable difference to your team. And good thing the Oilers took, the opportunity presented itself to win a game without one of their key pieces in the lineup. Now let's, going back to Vancouver, again, reset, refocus, and I love that it's a best of 3 at this point, Tommy. And I hope both teams bring their best, because this has been a very, very enjoyable series to watch. Oh,
yeah, back and forth. I've enjoyed it right there with you, Gager. Here's an interesting one, one that I am pleasantly surprised to read. It comes in from Planet Boy 71 via the nasty chat. Planet Boy 71 saying refs were much better. Still wish they'd stay out of the corners in offensive zone. The game is too fast for them, and with technology, do they really need to be right in the middle of the plate? Yes, they're super annoying, Planet Boy 71, but Planet Boy 71 saying the refs were much better. Gager, we don't see praise for the officiating all that often.
We don't do it enough.
Right?
We don't do it enough. And they were great. And it's a thankless job. The only time you say good things about the ref is when you didn't notice them all night.
Right.
And it was a great job. They were what is it? Mills Lane, firm but fair.
Yeah.
right? Like perfect, and the product showed on the ice itself. That was a fantastic hockey game to watch.
If you're wondering who the refs were tonight, Francis Chiron and Frederic Lacoyer. Graham Skilleter was the standby official. So get them back in there. I don't know, but they did a good job. They're actually getting praise from.
Matty says something interesting. He asked me, do the Oilers have a sleeping giant that could wake up and show more?
Who would that be?
If I'm going to pick one, I'm going to go with Corey Perry. We saw a little bit of warmness tonight, I guess you could say. Maybe there's a slight progression there, but we're still waiting to see Corey Perry because I've seen it, Tommy. Like he's been in the finals for so many years up to this point, and he has been a thorn in the side at certain points of the series. And I'm still waiting to see when he's going to. There was glimpses of it tonight. Maybe he's saved it for the best part.
You know what, Gager? That's a good one. He seems to rise to the occasion and find the moments to do it. And it might not be consistently anymore at this point in his career, but he's done it in postseasons prior with a bunch of different teams where out of the blue, Corey Perry makes a monster play that can be a seismic shift in a series. I'm going to say this facetiously because throughout the season, I compared him to Michael Pekka. Connor Brown. I downgraded him to Peter Klima at one point. I re-elevated him to Michael Pekka, but not happening. Who knows? Maybe it will be more Peter Klima than Michael Pekka for Connor Brown.
I think if that goal was allowed, sometimes it's just something so subtle, right? You saw what happened to Connor Brown after he scored. There was he put a few more. I think for the Worm, maybe a little bit of a success on the offensive side will help. I mean, this guy he's won a Hart Trophy, right? Yeah. There's no one that puts more pressure on himself than Corey Perry does, and he's always going to think of himself as a contributor offensively. Maybe he just needs to hit the back of the net here to really. Who just said this? Oh, it's Anthony S. Scandelli or Scandal. The Worm has to unearth. Somewhat like on Dune, I guess. I don't know.
That's beautiful. Well said, Anthony. Well said. I like that. Okay, let's go back inside the Oilers locker room. Zach to come. Who's next?
You know, the starter for tonight had a great night, and Evan Bouchard scored the game winner. They had their interview together, so let's go hear from them right now.
I know that you said, hey, you treat every game just like it's a normal game, but it's a playoff game. You're in that atmosphere on the ice. Can you kind of take us through just the first moments of tonight, your first playoff start, a long time coming?
Yeah, I was trying to channel my emotions as much as I could. Obviously, it's tough. It's a high-stake game. Obviously, a huge game for us. But I felt comfortable right from the get-go. We had great energy early. The crowd was into it. We played great all night. Obviously, they got a couple good bounces for them, but it didn't deflate us, and it was a huge goal at the end.
Evan, you guys give up a late one, and then you bounce back right away. That's your second huge goal of the series. Kind of take us through. I know you're a pretty calm guy, but how are you guys able to control that after such a devastating, at times seemed like a devastating goal against?
Yeah, definitely wasn't ideal giving up that second one in the third, but there wasn't much time to sulk and think about it. We had to go out and still finish the period. Great plays all around. Kaner putting it in, Halsey chipping in, and Leon making the great pass like he usually does.
Calvin over here. This is your first playoff win. You made your NHL debut nearly 10 years ago. Can you kind of describe your emotions right now after winning your first playoff game?
Yeah, I don't know if it's quite sunk in yet. Obviously, it's a big win for us. Yeah, it's been a long time. Obviously, making my debut 10 years ago and not getting playoff action really much at either level. But it's an exciting opportunity for me. The guys played great in front of me, and now it's a best of three.
Evan, there was some mixing and matching with the defensive pairs tonight. What did you think of how your team played defensively and specifically as a group of defensemen?
Yeah, I thought it was great. When you can limit a team like Vancouver to 2 goals, you're doing a pretty good job. Obviously, we had the help of Picks back there being rock solid for us, but when everyone chips in, everyone plays the way we can defensively, it's going to be a good night.
Cal, the team did fantastic on the penalty kill tonight. Just tell us about what you saw on those kills and the quality of chances you faced.
Yeah, our special teams were great. Penalty kill, obviously, with that the early kill, we didn't give them much, and then the double minor. It's a pressure point in the game, and we fed off the crowd, got a lot of clears, and I think they only got 1 shot on us. So that was a big kill for us at the right time, and looking to bring that kill in the next game.
Evan, you talked a lot about the stuff leading up to the eventual game winner there. What were you looking at when you got that puck at the point?
We did a great job getting to the net. We were preaching on that all game, getting to the net, getting the dirty goals. So it was, kudos for our forwards for battling in front. It's a tough job, getting in front of the goalie, and I saw a lane and took it.
Little awkward with him sitting next to you, but can you just kind of describe his presence in the locker room, maybe what he means to the team, because we're hearing a lot of that from different guys.
Yeah, gladly. He was, no matter what, he's a great locker room guy. Everyone wants to be around him. You want to be around him. And when he can go in the net and play like that, it's kind of hard to not want a teammate like Cal on your team.
We've interviewed a few guys, and they all have things like this to say. What presence do you try and bring to the locker room, and what does it mean to you when consistently guys are saying things like this?
Yeah, it means a lot. Obviously, hearing those nice things said about me. I try and be a good teammate every day. It's a big part of being on a team. Obviously, being a good teammate's one thing. You obviously, when you get that opportunity, you want to be a good goalie as well. I think at points in my career, I've just been labeled as a good teammate, good team guy, but that comes naturally for me at this point in my career, and it's nice to get in the net and have some success there.
Did you ever think?
All right, that was Calvin Pickard and Evan Bouchard. Pickard 19 saves on 21 shots. Bouchard the game-winning goal with 38 seconds left on the clock. All right, Gager, your thoughts on what Calvin Pickard said? He said, I'm not just a good teammate. I can be a good player too, and he certainly was tonight, and looks like we'll probably expect him to play again in game number 5. Some of the things that you took away from Calvin Pickard tonight.
I mean, what he said, and that's a good moment between teammates. Those are the things that when you leave the game, you miss most, right? But here's a guy in the I guess you might say the twilight of his NHL career, getting an opportunity. This is having a goalie of his caliber, and his caliber is maybe the wrong word. Mindset. Tommy. Okay. He has prepared himself for this moment and has had the opportunity to prepare him for this moment by getting I credit the coaching staff a little bit in this case by allowing him to play or implementing him in certain times throughout the year, not just against bottom feeder teams. He has played hard and won against the top teams in the league. And that's going to not only as a player, as a goalie, that's going to build your confidence. Go, okay, yeah, I have to be prepared. I know this guy's ahead of me, but there might be a time that's going to come where this team is going to count on me, and that reverts back to being a good teammate, staying after practice, working on things, not only for other people, but working on yourself. That relationship in the after hours of practice of not only taking those one-timers from the slot, but actually talking to guys that goes, hey, we've done these things. Can we work on some of these types of drills? Maybe low to high, things like that. Yep. That's what veteran guys do in that situation, and that's what it kind of sounds like to me. And you can see all the hard work that's been put in has been beneficial up to this point.
Hey, he takes those high shots in practice and doesn't complain, right, Gager? That's a good glue guy in the room.
It's a real good glue guy, and you hope that guys maybe they'll throw one low stick once in a while instead. It doesn't really matter. I know it looks great, but none of the big dogs are watching you after practice. You're not going to get bumped up to the first line with a one-timer from below the hash marks and 45 minutes after everyone's gone home.
Well, he put in the work, and it has been rewarded tonight. Calvin Pickard picking up the win, his first in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Okay, we are going to go inside the Vancouver room. We have one interview to get to. Zach, to come set it up.
Yeah, the one and lone interview that we got here is the head coach. Here is Rick Tocchet.
The last, 52 seconds after your club tied it up, and that last shift, how tough is it to swallow given the fact that your club had sort of pulled one out of the fire again before it?
Yeah, it's a tough one. We just looked at it, kind of disappointed because there was just too many soft plays on that goal. There's like 4 or 5 mistakes. Kind of, got to dig in there. I thought we had 4 or 5 guys make mistakes on that goal. You can't do that.
With how your club played tonight, I'm sure you would have liked a game where you maybe had the puck a little more, maybe defended a little bit less, even if you're happy with your play from the blue line in. But what does it say about your group that you're able to be off for much of the evening and then still find a way late?
Yeah, we've been a resilient group all year, but we need 5 or 6 guys to get going here. I mean, it's the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's some guys I don't know if they thought it was the playoffs. So we can't play with 12 guys. So we got to figure it out quick. It's 2-2. Obviously, it's a tough one. Edmonton came to play. They wanted it more early. The second goal at the end of the period was a killer. Another couple of given mistakes, and then the last goal. So, it's just can't do that.
You guys, it almost sensed that it was coming, though. Like in the third period, you guys made a good push. You had a lot of zone time. You get a feeling that that's how you want to play the rest of the series?
Yeah, before the goal, the second period, I thought we had about 5-6 shifts in a row. We were there, and then the third, there was, chunks of it, but not consistently. So, yeah, you can say positively, but we need more consistent effort from more guys, and that maybe instead of just 4 or 5 shift chunks, you'll have more possession time.
And Brock Besser has just been unbelievable against the Oilers this year. That was his 10th goal. Can just maybe a thought on his play and how he's going to be an Oiler killer.
Yeah, he's a goal scorer. We had people in the net, smart play. I thought just getting the puck to the net was the right play.
What'd you think of Quinn's play tonight? It felt like he was a catalyst for maybe getting you guys into the game around the middle point of the second period.
Yeah, he was trying. He was trying hard. Yep, he was trying hard.
What about the power play? I know that both yourself and JT talked this morning about not just being opportunistic, but establishing some zone time and getting the entries. Obviously, the 4-minute penalty, it was tough for your PP1 to get going. Just take me through that.
Yeah, it just wasn't good. Not good enough. They know it. I didn't think they worked hard. They mismanaged the puck. It's a 4-minute power play. I don't know. I think the second unit had some shots, but it's just not good enough. They know it. You cannot. You have to have a work ethic, and you have to hold pucks. I didn't think we did.
I know that PD won a key face-off on the eventual goal that you guys scored late, but you would think that if they're going to split up their lines and he's getting third-line matchups, you need to find a way to win that battle. How tough has it been there, not getting a lot?
Like I said, there's 5 or 6 guys. He's got to get going. I don't know what else to say.
You guys have prided.
All right, he doesn't know what else to say. Rick Tocchet, there's a mosquito in here. I got it. It's May 14th, and there's a mosquito in here. Rick Tocchet sounded irritated, talked about you can't have 12 or 13 guys, talked about the power play not being good enough. He said Quinn Hughes is tried. Quinn Hughes is banged up. We know that. Wow, Gager, like I'd be frustrated too, but this team has played well. They almost saved that game, pulled it out of the fire, and got the win. It didn't happen, but I'm a little bit surprised to hear how pissed off he is.
First of all, Tommy, don't blame the mosquito. Blame your sweetness. All right.
Oh.
But that it's surprising, but not unexpected of the coach to say that. I go back to the 4-minute power play. That was the game right there. That was where you want your first power play to go out there, and even if you don't score, you are creating momentum.
Right.
And the way that the Oilers were able to just, completely diffuse any chances, like not allowing that first unit even to get a shot.
Yeah.
That gives the other team juice. That the Oilers were pumped after that. That led to such a good first period. So again, two moments that were key for me in tonight's game. Of course, that 4-minute kill and not allowing the skill of the Canucks to feel good about themselves, and the Pickard save on Brock in the second period there on the 2-on-1. Those were two key moments that the Oilers rose to the challenge and came out on top. It
was a close one, but they ultimately get that win, like Gager was alluding to. 780-218-9999. Nasty chat. Keep doing your thing. Joaquin Gage, going into Game 5 here. If you're the Oilers, what are you telling yourselves? How are you preparing yourselves for what will be most certainly a very hostile Rogers Arena, where the Canucks will look to take a stranglehold of this, what is now a best-of-3 series?
Be a goldfish. Like completely go dark. Throw the phones into a bin. Don't look at social media. Don't look at anything. Cut the cable off and forget everything that's happened up to this point. And I mean all 82 games and playoff games. It's a 3-game series. Everything starts fresh. Wow. And a huge opportunity to go into now having, I believe in momentum game to game, especially now you have this whole scenario. You have a coach that's called out some players, right? So you have them thinking about themselves a little bit. You reached in and pulled this game out with seconds left in 2 different scenarios in that game, which is awesome to see, like playing to the whistle. Which is great. It's be the goldfish, Tommy. That's my mantra going into Game 5.
I like that, Gager. Very unique, very Joaquin Gage. You were great tonight, just like Calvin Pickard. And you know what? That's why we love you, pal. Great job all day long on the morning show. 2 guys and a goalie. And especially here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre- and post-game show. Gager, get some rest, my friend. We'll see you on Thursday.
All right, buddy. Take care.
That is Joaquin Gage, our game analyst, filling in for Matt Cassian admirably. Great stuff from Gager all night long. All right, we've got some business to get to, and Zach Decombe will be delivering this one tonight. It is the big save of the game presented by Christopher Boyle, business owner, a tax saver. Take care of your family with Christopher Boyle, an experienced advisor with over 17 years in the business. Safeguard yourself and your family with comprehensive coverage for tax-free benefits during hospitalization or a fracture or a broken bone. You'll get benefits pay from day one of the incident, so you don't have to worry about the cost and loss of income due to hospitalization. Preserve your income and protect your paycheck by visiting www.christopherboyle.net. And without further ado, Zach Decombe, take it away, pal.
Well, I think it was in that final power play for the Edmonton Oilers where Artur Shilov stood on his head, made some game savers, as Chris Cuthbert said, calling the game, and I completely agreed with him there. He gave his team a fighting chance to try and get back in the game, and they did. They tied the game up, and in just 36 seconds left in the game, the Oilers were able to win. But Artur Shilovs was the forerunner and the one to push his team and give that momentum for them to even have a fighting chance in this game. So that save of the game has to go to Artur Shilovs. I think 15:40 remaining in that third period. He made a great save, and then the puck went out, came back in, and another save as well at the 15:03 mark, just at the end of that power play. So great sequence of saves for Artur Shilovs, and he's going to be the Canucks starter, I believe, for the rest of the series. So he has to get that save of the game because it was frankly spectacular. I can't lie.
Hey, he earned it. And you know what? I like the detail you dropped in the Christopher Boyle big save of the game. YouTube Trev doesn't do that.
Hey,
I'm
man.
kidding. We love Trev. Now you're going to see Trev do it. So you guys are one-upping each other here. It's fantastic. Great players push each other, and you guys are doing the same. Fantastic. Good job. Zach to come on the big save of the game, presented by Christopher Boyle. All right, let's go to the text line, see what's going on there. Let's go to Sheldon. Sheldon says, love the way Holloway looked on the second line. So solid. Passes on the tape. Great offensive creativity and vision, and solid in his own zone, too. Also love seeing him celebrate with Bouchard during the last goal. Holloway face always lights up like a boy who just saw real-life boobs for the first time. Can't wipe the biggest smile off his face. Haha. Sasky Sheldon. Way to describe that one, Sheldon. Kenworth Kelly says, who gets to start next game, Skidder or CP30? It's only fitting that CP30 is gold. Yes, we think it's going to be CP30, Pickles, CP, all these nicknames that he's now receiving from Joaquin Gage, Oilers fans, and his teammates. Let's go to C-Max. Says, solid 60-minute effort. Notice so many more players tonight. Nuge, Kane, Janmark, Ryan, Holloway, Nurse. So many more guys stepping up. Pickard. And then also add C-Mac. Holy moly, guacamole. How am I going to sleep? Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Maybe some white noise in the background. Decompress. Let's go to this one. Earth to Ryan McLeod. Would you like to join the series at some point? I took a shot every time he had a chance to drive to the net and didn't. Incoming hangover is the hashtag to wrap up that text. That's the one guy I looked at. I was like, he's still on the outside tonight, but way less passengers, as some others have pointed out, and maybe McLeod's still a passenger. I thought he could have done a bit more, but he at least tried a bit more to get involved. I'll give him credit for that. Let's go to Mike from Thunder Bay. Says, not thrilled. The Oilers gave up yet another multi-goal lead in the third. Canucks push hard, and the Oilers need to be tighter defensively. This team needs to find a way to get to Shelovs. But glad to see another strong start from Pickard. Oilers win. Series tied. I don't have to stay up for overtime, and I am all for that. I go to bed extremely happy. Oilers in 6. L from Mike in Thunder Bay. Colton is on the CC was bad train. Didn't make a single play. Made a couple stupid plays that ended up hemming them in for 45 seconds. There was a one shift he was out there with Kulak, and you've heard the Oilers and Canucks talk about that 5 or 6 minute sequence. They got hemmed in because the forwards didn't help. There was a couple opportunities to get it out. He was part of it. Kulak struggled on that shift too. If that's the one we're alluding to, and only that shift and that sequence, I don't think that's fair. But if there's other ones, then I understand. But I don't see CC, and Gager didn't see CC as being a detriment to the team. He's not being taken out. We know that. He's a veteran guy. You're not putting in Stetcher or Broberg for CC. Brad from Crossfield says, is this their best game of the series? Pretty solid tonight. Vancouver had a good push, though. Cliff says, what is Bouchy going to command in the year? Has to start with a 10. Cliff, I don't think it gets that high, and I don't think we're ready to talk about that just yet. Tay says, do you guys think Vancouver missed Soucy, or would the outcome have been the same? Tay, I think they definitely missed him. I like the Oilers' chances, even with Soucy in the lineup tonight. I'll just say that. Sean says, obvious question, do the Oilers stick with Pickard? Yes, Sean. Stamp Hater says, Cody Ceci got caved tonight. He has no confidence with the puck. No less than 3 turnovers that turned into Oilers getting trapped in their own end. I think we're talking about the same shift there. Andy Pandy says, Tommy, I was sweating bullets when the Canucks tied it. Oilers thoroughly deserved the win. The game tonight, to a man, they were engaged. Special mentions to Bouchard, Holloway, and Kane, who were all excellent tonight. Draisaitl had yet another monstrous performance, and 97 was flying, backing up their D. Pickard was solid, and that is all they need. Best of 3, no matter what. Back in Edmonton on Saturday night, it will be mayhem. Andy Pandy with that one. All right, let's go to Kris Knoblauch really quickly and hear from him for a minute or two.
Down game, you had it in control. Kind of take me through your range of emotions on what you saw and then from start to finish in the third.
I thought we spent more time in the defensive zone. I don't think we gave up very many chances. The 2 goals, one was a block from our defenseman that bounced right to the guy in the slot. I think there was that one, and then the other one, the 6-on-5 was shot, and that the traffic there goes off a shin pad in the net, and not much we can do there. But overall, we spent a little more time in the defensive zone, probably being a little more safe. That's just human nature, not wanting to make the big mistake, and not precedent as much as we were in the first and second period. But, I don't think we gave up many chances.
Leon mentioned after the second goal in the third that, sometimes you maybe can deflate and sit back, and he praised Kane for, getting on the forecheck and really kind of setting up that goal. As a coach, are you thinking, okay, let's just get it to overtime? And what did you make of the winning goal?
No, we're going to finish the 60 minutes, and now we're not going to want to sit back. We put out two guys that were fresh, Kaner, Dylan. They had been playing much with the lead at the end of the game, and Leon put that line together, and it was nice to have the fresh legs to go in there and forecheck and create the turnover. There's a lot of good plays on that. One was obviously it starts with Kaner on the forecheck. Another one, Leon made a great pass to Bouch and makes a great shot, but also a little subtlety is the Ekholm keeping the puck into the blue line. I believe he used his skate to keep that in, and a lot of good things. And usually it's just not one guy making a nice play; it's a lot of guys. So, I'm happy for their guys, because after giving up that late goal, when you feel like you've won it, you had a 2-goal lead, and they tie it up, it'd be hard to rebound, and they did well.
Kris, Calvin Pickard, what did you think of his performance tonight?
He looked like a guy that had played 100 playoff games. Composed, really solid. Seeing the puck really well. I know there was one third period, they sifted one from the blue line, and there was 5 or 6 bodies in front of him. He snagged it. We weren't sure from the bench where we were standing if he was going to see that. A lot of nice plays. And then not only that,
Oh, Zach Ekholm, classic cutting off the coach, but all good. We got the most of it there. I think the big quote that we got from Kris Knoblauch was, it looked like Calvin Pickard had played 100 playoff games. It was just his second postseason appearance, first start, first full game, and he got the job done for the Oilers tonight. All right, let's get to the Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite Player of the Game. Damon Bunting, consistent, top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven. Damon understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Zach Ekholm, who is our Player of the Game, brought to you by Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite.
Well, I might have been a bit trigger happy because all that Calvin Pickard talk was getting me going, and watching him the entire game, I got to agree with Kris Knoblauch. He was fantastic. It looked like he's been out there 100 times over, and getting that high praise from your coach is truly something. We saw earlier in the post-game show here when we played the interview of Bouchard and Pickard up in the media scrum there that, they had the fist bump. They truly believe in this guy, it seems like, and they should, because he helped get the team the win. 15 for 17 on even strength and 19 of 21 in total in the game. So 905 save percentage, his first career NHL playoff win in his first career NHL playoff start. Truly something fantastic, and the Player of the Game has to go to Calvin Pickard.
Nicely done, Zach Ekholm. All right. Calvin Pickard, your Player of the Game. Shelovs earlier getting the Christopher Boyle big save of the game. Great work by Zach. Tonight, to keep this bad boy humming along, let's wrap things up with a few texts. Let's go to Brother Morgs, who had a great time on Saturday at the Birdie Booze launch party. He says, what a game. Nuge got what was his. Perry was doing Corey Perry things. The cross-check defense on Brock Besser was amazing. Let's go, Oil. I never turned the panic meter above 0. Brother Morgs. Frithy says, does this game impact the confidence of the Canucks and the confidence of their fans? I doubt it. But they're a confident bunch over there. Jeffy says, so happy with the win. Hopefully the way it happened is the tipping point in the series, but the Oilers need to get going 5-on-5 on all 4 lines for that to happen. This text says, huge win. Let's go. Who starts next game? We think it's Pickard. This one from Brad W. out of Spruce Grove says, Tommy, lots to talk about the secondary scoring. Fair enough. However, we are definitely frustrating the Orcas and need to keep the pedal down. Pickard, Ekholm, Kane had strong games. Brad W. out of Spruce Grove. And the other thing you heard Kris Knoblauch talking about it there was, and I mentioned it earlier in the show, is even after they got scored, the Oilers looked like they were still attacking. So maybe that can be attributed to some killer instinct, not perfect killer instinct that some people want to see. And I'm one of those people that I'd like to see it all the time. I love pedal to the metal hockey. I love teams that can dictate play, but I do understand and comprehend that there is flow and momentum to games. And by the way, the other team that they're playing against is really damn good too. So I can appreciate that for sure. Go to Displaced Yukon, says, I'm still laughing at what Perry did. How can you not love that? So subtle. Not so subtle reference to the suspension. Thank you, Displaced Yukoner. Herb's Hose says, I agree with Matty 39. He's way over his head. He doesn't make sound plays. Slow never makes it clear with the opportunity to present. He isn't good. People have picked their new whipping boy. It's Cody Cece. This one says, I can't stand players like Besser. Guy does nothing all game but can shoot, so if you make a mistake, he will bury one. It reminds me of Phil Kessel. Good players find ways to do stuff, make an impact. Besser's been doing that. Seventh best scored says, Cece I thought was fine tonight, but Vinny I thought looked good with extra responsibility. Desharnais was good, and he was put out there in high-pressure situations. Unfortunately, the one shot off of Besser's stick hits Desharnais' stick, and then a leg in front of Pickard and goes in for the equalizer. Mike from Calgary texting in says, can't imagine being in the arena. This was stressful. At the end, why does this team always make it harder than it should be? This team, Mike from Calgary, this franchise, always won for the drama. Mike from Calgary also has, boys, would tonight's effort be enough to beat the Stars, Rangers, Panthers? Let's cross that bridge if, sorry, Tommy, we, quote unquote, get there. All good, Mike from Calgary. Appreciate that. I'll give you that one. Gager, CP, Pickles, being a Star Trek fan, the only nickname for Calvin is Captain Pickard. Make it so and engage. Those are Trek references, Tommy. I know, Ken. I know. Even though I'm not a big Trekkie, I get them. Peter says, definitely can't take him out, but he can be better. That was in regard to CC. Open up the phone lines. No, we won't be doing that. We have a nasty chat to replace the phone lines. All right, a few more here as we wind things down. Big Slam Nasty says, when Holloway came back, I said that he wasn't leaving the lineup until the end of the season. I love the confidence and swagger he's playing with right now. He's going to be a great piece for years to come. Have a great night, my man. Thank you, Big Slam Nasty. And you know what? I was wrong. I didn't think Holloway would get to stay in the lineup come playoffs. He earned it and completely proved me wrong. I have no problem admitting that. Let's go to Nook. Says, guys, I know what Matty was talking about. He didn't get the puck out by the net. Instead of playing it, he bobbled it. Yes, I know. He doesn't have the best puck handling ability. Corey downtown says, what are your thoughts on Craig Simpson's love fest for the Canucks? Corey, Craig lives here, played for the Oilers, won Stanley Cups with them. Maybe overcompensating if it was that egregious, but I would think that Craig, being one of the best in the business, bar none, generally toes the line right down the middle or as close to it as possible. A reminder, Corey downtown, Craig was also on the bench as an assistant coach with the Oilers in 2006. He's got a lot of time for the orange and blue. This one, Johnny the accountant texting in says, I don't think you change this lineup for next game. Oil finally put up a solid effort in front of their goalie. If Skinner for the same effort, this would be a different series. Another text says, good to have seen Gager past his bedtime, giving his great perspective. That's a guy I would serve hot dogs with. Fergie's Prostate says, Tommy, what time are you at Boston Pizza tomorrow? Fergie's Prostate says, answer my question, you wanker. Fergie's Prostate, I will be there at 11. I'll try to get there an hour before we go to air. It will be myself and Joaquin Gage. I should have said see you tomorrow, Gager. I forgot. He is in with me because Dusty is in Moose Jaw. Great calls from Dusty, by the way, in that final between the Warriors and the Winterhawks tonight. I retweeted one of his calls that Huss put out. And the man is in mid-season CFL mode. He does not lose a step. Well done, Dusty. This one says, hey, boys, love listening to the show. Do you guys think Holloway's earned a top 6 forward spot next game? I would say yes. I'd have no problems against it. Calgary Glenn says 6 down, and he's got 6 o'clocker loggers with the Stanley Cup above them. X'd out. Nicely done. And then Babbage Stash says, that game was crazy. What a finish. What happens next game? Is it Pickard again? He was good, but Skinner can't sit there, can he? Yeah, he can sit for one more, I think. What else? 2 words regarding the answer for Edmonton's bottom 6 scoring drought. Sam Gagner. That's from Mr. Dad. Great handle, Mr. Dad. I'm going to have to add that in there. We'll save it to the database. Mr. Dad. A lot of people saying Papa Oiler today to Sam Gagner. All right. Tango, you get the last word. Hey, Tommy, what comment put me in timeout? Tango, I didn't see. I didn't time out anybody tonight, but I didn't see it, pal. All right, let's end on a positive. Let's go to this one. Atif. Tommy just got home from the game. That was a roller coaster. Ups and downs. Can't wait for Thursday. Met tons of AM nasties at the game. Pickard, how many NHL Enterprise does he have? I believe he played for Avalanche at one time and played in the playoffs. Atif. And then how many years of experience does Pickard have? Atif, none. None in the NHL. That was his first ever game the other day. And tonight was his first ever start. So no playoff experience in the NHL. Atif, I got your back. I saw the photo. Absolutely tremendous. Great way to end the night with a text from Old Wheels himself. I'm sure the boys on the morning show will be playing your pump-up songs that you sing in and send in to them because they are hilarious. All right, Zach, to come, any final thoughts from you? Great work tonight, pal. Give us a quick something.
It was a good night being on Pre and Post once again. Usually this is Trev's chair. I love doing this. And I just want to say, guys, if you like the show, if you're new here, please subscribe, like. It helps with the algorithm. YouTube Trev taught me that, so I'm just giving his knowledge and putting it on to use. It would be really greatly appreciated. We appreciate you listening. You guys make this happen. So I just wanted to say that. Hope you have a great night. Be safe and mix in a couple waters for you guys enjoying the 6 o'clocker loggers, as Tommy would say.
Look at Zach to come. He is learning. He is learning before our eyes. You love to see it. A huge thank you to Joaquin Gage. A huge thank you to everyone who listened on the audio side, who watched on the YouTube side, to everyone who came and said hello here at Hudson's Whyte Avenue. Big thank you to the staff, Connor and his crew. Fantastic as always. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. For Zach to come and Joaquin Gage, I am Tom Gazzola saying have a great night, you nasties. We will see you tomorrow. Ciao for now.